Our last episode dropped July 9th, 2025. And then we disappeared.
And honestly, we didn't know if or when we were coming back. And the crazy thing is, we actually recorded some episodes during that time.
We did, but every time it was my time to go back and rewatch them, edit them, it just felt a little off. Seems like something was, missing.
Because the thing that was really shaping our lives during that time, we weren't talking about it out loud.
So today we are finally talking about it. Welcome to episode 005,
The Fall Off.
part 1. My name is Christian.
And I'm Aisha. And this is us in real life.
Yes, us in real life. Finally, it seems like us in real life. That'll make more sense later, guys. Aisha, how you doing this Saturday afternoon or before noon or afternoon now? Yeah.
I am doing. I am a bit eek about this episode. Yeah, us in real life. We're really getting into. I mean, not that we weren't getting into us in real life before, but this episode is like us in real life, like in my business, in our business.
Definitely. Yeah, it's been a minute, right? A lot of people have asked about, hey, what happened to the podcast? And we were waiting for episodes, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna get back
I
to
blame
it.
Christian. That was my excuse. That was my go-to. Like Christian
Yes.
ain't been editing. Like,
And I'm like, I want to edit, but blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's just
no. Christian said, I just want to have episodes in the repertoire.
you gotta have them. You gotta have the content loaded up so you can just drop them consistently. But we weren't in a place to where we were able to, do this consistently, and it just felt like, should we just stop? Should we? It never really felt like we should stop. Like nothing that really said stop, right? So yeah, I mean it's been a while. Life happened.
Life be lifing.
Life be life. And let's talk about it though, man. It's definitely time to talk about it.
Yeah. So if you're new here, our podcast is about real marriage and real life. And today we're going to get you caught up.
Yes, get you caught up. So first, let's start with just life adjustments, right? Things that have happened to us since our last episode dropped. Life definitely got busy. First and foremost, our niece, our 5-year-old, she just turned 5 in December, right?
In December, yes.
So our 5-year-old niece moved in with us back in November. So that has been a big adjustment. Changing our schedules and everything else, right, Mice?
Yes. So, it was just me, you, and Nugget. And Nugget go to bed when he want to go to bed. Like, as long as we feed him, he's fine. If he wants to cuddle, he's fine. But her, she's a child. She has needs,
Right.
and we are at her beck and call.
Right.
So
Uncle Christian.
yeah, she treat Uncle Christian is like up here, and I'm like down here. I'm like chopped liver.
No.
Yes.
She loves us both.
But no, seriously, like just adjusting our lives to have a 5-year-old living with us. So bedtimes, bath times, dinner times, who taking her to school, who picking her up, trying to make sure we work out, trying to make sure that we still have our time together, like our intentional time together. I still work at a very high needs school, so some days I'm just overstimulated by work, and then I come home, and then she's just it's been a lot. So that's been a big adjustment for us for sure. So managing all of that, juggling all that, and then trying to make time to film us in real life, yeah, that wasn't happening.
It wasn't happening. But shout out to our friend. I won't say his name, but shout out to him.
Yes.
He's watching her right now as we speak. So
yes,
we appreciate you. You know who you are, brother. What else? I guess this kind of goes along with other family responsibilities as well. So I know you had your aunt.
my aunt. Y'all know my family is pretty small compared to Christian. So one of my aunts, she's been sick. And so me, my mom, and my cousin, we were taking on the role of caregivers. So the three of us just rotating, going to the hospital. She gets out the hospital a few days later. She's back in the hospital. And so in and out the hospital, and has been going on since September. Prayerfully, today she's in a much, much better space. She's back at home. She's doing a lot better. So, but during that, working all day, driving to the city, in traffic, staying late. It was just a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot. And it's a blessing though to be able to help your family member and be in a space where you can do that. This was before. I mean, some of it kind of ran into when we took
Yeah. So
in.
I took her at the end of September, and then
Right,
through October, we were taking turns staying at the hotel and
right,
then at the hospital. So that was about a month, and then that's when our
right,
niece came. So,
right.
and she was still in the hospital, and
Exactly. Yeah,
had
so
got
it's
worse. So yeah,
a lot. And that's just I mean, you talked a lot about just from a time standpoint, but that's not even mentioning the energy and the mental capacity, right? So, again, we know now that, everything is well, but at one point, you didn't know if everything was going to be
yeah.
well. And so that obviously had an effect on you and on us mentally. And so, yeah, it's just, life be lifing as as they say. So, that happened. What else? Let's keep going.
I mean, we'll be here all day if we talked about every single thing that happened.
Now, in that time in between time, we actually were filming some episodes, like how we mentioned earlier. And I maybe have gotten a little bit too much into it in the intro there, but a lot of those episodes didn't feel like we were being us in real life, right? It didn't feel like we were being our authentic selves. Um, we had some things, other things going on in our lives that were heavy at the time. And because I guess we really weren't in the space to talk about it publicly, we didn't want to talk about it on the podcast and actually do all the work that goes with, creating the episode and everything else. And so we just start talking about other things that we know, a marriage-based podcast should be about. So we did like a finances episode that I don't think I dropped yet. We did. I apologize in
It
advance if
might
y'all,
be you are.
but we're gonna record this thing. We recorded some episodes about fighting fair, which was actually a really good episode. I gotta drop that one. We might just keep that one as and just, finagle the episode name in there. But that's a good episode. We talked a lot about like how we fight fair. So when we're not, feeling all giddy about each other and we were having disputes and conflict, how we manage it, which is actually a really good topic. So we'll bring that one back. The finances one is good too. But still, as we were, continuing to think about different topics to talk about, other things were happening in our lives, and we felt like we weren't. And maybe this was just a me thing. I felt like I wanted to be. I felt like I know when we established this podcast that we were supposed to be us in real life. That's why we called it that, right? We talked about, yeah, we should be authentic and blah blah blah, all of this stuff, right? And when the time came to be authentic, we folded.
It's
Um,
a great song.
what's the great song?
Folded.
She won an agreement on that song, I think. Anyway,
Hmm.
so yeah, it is a great song. Yeah, so I just felt like we weren't really, being real. So
Yeah.
maybe subconsciously I was just like, putting it off and putting it off. And then Maisha, she was just,
I just was
yeah, she
not
was not in the space to be like,
in the
hey, Christian, yeah,
headspace at all.
yeah.
E- Thank God for good husbands.
And good wives. Come on now. I love you, girl.
Love you too.
So yeah, we were talking about life, right, in those episodes, but the thing that was kind of shaping us, not kind of, the thing that was shaping our lives at the time and still is shaping our life, we weren't talking about that, right? And so, yeah, today we're going to talk about it. There was something else that was going on in our lives that we really haven't talked about publicly. A lot of our family, close friends know, but we haven't really shared this with anybody else, like, I guess, publicly. That's what that means, right?
On the internet
On the
streets.
net. Right,
Y'all
right.
all in my business.
Yeah. So, since what, 2023?
3.
Yeah, since 2023, we've been dealing with infertility. Um, it's a journey for sure. We both know we want to be parents. Me be a dad, Mike should be a mom, and yeah, it's it's been different than what we expect our
Yep.
marriage would be like.
Coming up on 9 years in June.
Right, 9 years married, not 9
Married,
years
yeah.
trying, but yes,
9 years
9 years.
married in
Right,
June, and we are not parents.
and I think so. The most difficult thing is the tension that comes with talking about it,
Mhm.
and so you kind of we ha- we have this vision of, I guess everyone has this vision when they want to have children. They think about like the dropping the social media post about it being a surprise to everybody, blah
The
blah blah.
gender reveal
Right,
parties.
and so of course you kind of keep you keep this, you keep when you're trying, you really don't let people know, hey, yeah, we're trying. Like, you just keep it to yourself because you want it to be a surprise when it actually
Right,
happens.
right.
That's exactly what we were doing too, but it didn't happen every time we checked. Right, we did all the things. We'll get into more of the specifics, I guess, later, but yeah, just it hasn't happened for a long time. We didn't know if and how we would share this publicly.
And when,
Right,
if ever. That's why those episodes that we were filming didn't feel authentic to us. I mean, we were sharing. It was our business, y'all. We were being us in real life and sharing stuff about us in those episodes, but just at the same time, it's like we're smiling, kiki-ing, but deep inside, we're hurting because we've been on this journey, this difficult journey. And so we knew that, yeah, us in real life will be talking about this in real time, but we just weren't comfortable or in a headspace, me for sure,
right.
to talk about it because
There's a lot
your
going on.
girl was going through. Okay. Okay.
And you smile about it now, but yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot on us. We'll get more into the full conversation about around that
In part
in
two.
part two of the fallout.
But
So stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's like
that's
like she said, like that's a lot of the reasons why those episodes that we filmed before in this kind of in between space didn't feel authentic to us.
And for those that are listening, if you are in this journey, have been on this journey, y'all know exactly the emotions or some of the emotions that we are talking about that you probably felt too. So yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on to confession sessions. We gotta have our one of our signature segments here. We do all the time. We're gonna do it. Call this one confession sessions.
And these are my
You say
confessions.
that every time. All
Okay,
right.
I'm go first.
Okay. Go ahead.
So for me, I have like it's just so many confession sessions for me. But I would say because I am a pretty private person, because I don't be liking people in my business, but because I am a private person, like I didn't realize, well, I mean, I guess I did realize how hard it would be to be putting my business on the front street to talk about this. But just over time, just seeing and reading and being in spaces with other women and other married couples who have struggled with infertility and just how much people don't talk about it. And when you're going through that and you don't see a lot of people talking about it, it makes you feel alone. Like it makes you feel like, something's wrong. I would tell Christian, like, I'm an alien. Like, what's wrong with me? So I didn't realize. I mean, I guess I did realize it was hard because I just don't like talking about my business on Front Street, but just how challenging it would be to somehow, some way be a voice to talk about a issue that so many women, so many couples face each and every day.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a there's some pressure on that too, right? Um, not wanting to talk about it as if it's over because it's not. But also knowing that you don't have the answers that you want, right, as well. So it's tough for sure.
What's your confession session?
Um, I think my confession session will be, and this is just the season that we're in, that something that God is teaching me, right? Is this sense of control. So like, anybody that knows this personally, like, knows how me and Maisha are. We like to have our things in order, and we thought, y'all, we thought we was doing it. We was like, all right, so now we're ready. Because people have asked us in the past, right? Like, "Oh, y'all gonna have kids?" We was like, "Yeah, we ready. We'll get to it when we're ready, right?" And we felt like we were ready. Like, all right, we did our thing. We wanted to have some time to be married and just enjoy ourselves. Check. We wanted to travel. Check. All right, we wanted to have our own house, so check. We checked that box off. So we went out, bought a house. And yeah, it was like, you know what, we're gonna start trying. And this day we're gonna close on the house. We ended up getting a new bill. So we were writing, our prayers and writing scriptures in the room that we knew where we have our baby in, and all these things, which I think, is a good thing, obviously, right? Excuse me. And so yeah, we just had we had this timeline in our head of how things would go. And when we closed on the house and we started trying, consummate the house and all that jazz. Um,
Consummate.
yeah, consummate all the rooms. I think we done hit all of them, right? We got the
Oh,
sorry. So yeah, consummate the house, consummate the rooms. And we
just
was
busted it wide open in the house.
yes, yeah, I better anyway. So yeah, we just thought it was gonna just happen. And it didn't. So that was the thing for us, like this sense of control and wanting to be able to just, yeah, dictate how life is gonna be. And, with this experience, it showed us is that, yeah, like some things, a lot of things are just not in our control. Um, it's not like one of those things like, oh, um, I
First
gained up.
comes love, then comes marriage.
That's not where I was going with this, but anyway, like, oh, I just gained some weight. I'm gonna go eat right and lose weight. Like this is infertility is not that, right? It's something that you don't have control over. And it really has put us into a place where, we're relying on God and we're relying on Him to, if this is His will, for it to happen in our lives. And it's been definitely something that, again, we just weren't really expecting. And so, this idea of control and really letting go of control and allowing God to really direct your steps, as they say, right, has been very interesting to me. So, yeah, that's my confession. We don't have as much control over life as we would like to think. And for us, it's infertility, but for someone else, it could be something different, right? It could be, their work experience or their work situation. It could be their family situation. It could be a health situation. It could be whatever. It's different for everybody, but still, it just kind of reminds you that in the day, you know, God is in control, regardless. So yeah, that's my confession.
Yeah, that's mine too. Like I said, I had a bunch of confessions, but yeah, that timeline is something that we don't have control over.
Right. All right. Well, we're gonna come to a close. Like I said, there'll be a part two. So this is part one of the fall off. There'll be a part two when we go more into depth around our fertility journey, infertility journey, however we're gonna call it. The things that happen, we'll get into all of that and how it shaped us, how it shaped our marriage, how it shaped this podcast, how it, put a pause on the podcast as well. A lot of that will, kind of make more sense in the next episode. Anything you're reflecting on right now, Maisha, to close us out that you want to talk about?
Um, I just am reflecting on like we're actually talking about it. Like I know that we have our photo album of like just the whole process or whatever, like what we called it, and like who knew that when we started the photo album in our phones that it would take, this long in our timeline. But I'm just thankful that during this most difficult time, probably one of the most difficult times in my life, that I just have you to walk with me, like to walk alongside me, because it can be very isolating, and I couldn't imagine like going through this journey without you. So yeah, that's really sitting with me, and I know that you were ready to talk about this a lot sooner then I was like our fertility journey on the podcast, and so I honestly didn't know if I would ever get to the point where I would share it online. Maybe like when we do like coming soon, blah blah blah, and then the baby is actually like here, then I can say, oh yeah, just so you know, back we've been trying since da 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 da, da, and it's God's blessing, da da da. Not saying that that's not gonna be the post, but in my mind, that is when I was gonna share it on the internet streets because I don't like people in my business. But I'm just reflecting that I'm just thankful that of all God's plans, He planned for you to be with me.
Oh, I'm glad to be with you as well, babe. Like, um, yeah, man. I'm glad to be with you as well. It's this thing called marriage that God created, right? When He really says that two shall become one flesh, and this experience that we're going through has really done that for us. Like I'm learning a lot about you. You learn more about me, and we're really, being vulnerable with each other, and it's just these type of things that happen in your life put you into that space, and so I think our foundation has helped a lot as well. So yeah, I'm glad to be with you as well, babe. What else? For me, right? What's my reflection? Um, Sometimes, stepping back isn't quitting. That's one thing I would say. I never felt like we stopped. Like I knew we would get back to it. I didn't know when. Um, this when we do this, right? Like it feels right. Um, Talking about this also, even though it's just us talking to each other into a microphone until we actually release it, but it's somewhat therapeutic. Like it feels nice to be able to talk about it out loud, if you will. So that's nice. Um, yeah, I'm very introspective, guys.
Yeah, and
I
analytical. My God,
Yeah, but I like to have a mix of analyticalness and emotional introspectiveness as well, and just thinking about all the different things, all the different puzzle pieces of life, right? Um, all right, I'm getting long winded. It's your fault because you talking about. "Oh, I'm just so happy to have you," and it's just like, girl, come on. I'm supposed to be ending the episode, and you
it's
got
my
me in my feels.
reflection.
I know, but you took me to a place. All right, let's stop this. Let's stop this. Next episode, part 2 of the fall off. We will go more into detail around our journey of infertility, the things we learned, the things we're dealing with, how it's affected our marriage.
How it's affected us individually as well.
Yeah, good point. Yes,
It's
for
been
sure.
a lot of growth.
Right. So
So
yeah,
basically, part two is gonna be y'all all up in our business.
I mean that's what this part 1 was that too. But
I
yeah,
mean, they're really in the business in part two. So go on and get your tea because it's hot.
it's
It's hot,
hot with 2 T's. It's hot.
hot, hot
Gotcha.
girl.
All right, y'all. Thank you for checking out the episode. Maisha, you normally do this part.
Yes. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at Christian and Maisha and Us in Real Life podcast. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you prefer to listen to this on a podcast, we are available on all podcast streaming outlets. See you in the next one.
It's been a long time. You should have left. Dope beat. Step 2. Step 2.
Uh-oh.
Been a long time. We should have left.
What would you say to get your way? And you wake up and try again. If I hesitate to let you in.
Oh, you won't be hesitating. Let me. We're supposed to stop this episode. Let's
Yes,
stop.
Christian, you're being inappropriate.